Let's write a snake game using Python Turtle. First, we're gonna make the imports, Turtle itself, the time and random libraries. Then we're gonna set up the screen and dimensions and the background. So first we'll create a screen object and we're gonna set the title as snake game. And then we're gonna give it a background color as black. And after that we will set up the dimensions 600 by 600, and then we will set the tracer to 0, and after that we must create an infinite loop in order to run the game logic. So while true screen.update, we will run this forever, like infinitely, and now if we run the game we'll see the black screen. So now we can start to set up the snake. It will be a basic let's call this game loop. So now we can set up this player. It will be a basic turtle object with a square shape, and it will have a green color, and we'll call a pen up, and we'll move this snake, the object, into the center of the screen to the 0 and 0. So if we run this now, we'll see our snake in the center of the screen. Now we must be able to move it, so we'll create a direction parameter in the player object and we'll name it as stop by default. And now we must be able to change this direction, so we'll define the functions for that. So snake must be able to go up if player's direction isn't down. If it's not facing down, it will be up. And let's copy this 3 more times and make some changes to it so it's convenient. So it's gonna be go down and go left and go right. So if it's not up, it will be down. If it's not right, it will be left. If it's not left, it will be right. Okay, now we can change the player's direction with functions. Now we must be able to move snake according to this direction. So let's create a move function, and inside this move function, if player's direction is up, we move the player by y coordinate, so we get the player's initial y coordinate and move it by 20 points. And let's again copy this 3 more times and make the changes to it. So if it's gonna be down, we'll take 20 points. It will be left, it's gonna be x coordinate now, so we get the player's current x coordinate and take 20 points from this x coordinate. And if it's the right direction, we will add 20 points to player's x coordinate, x plus 20. Okay, now we can move according to this movements. Now we must listen to the keyboard clicks, so we call screen.listen, and in onKeyPress we write the function name first and then which key we want to listen to. So in this case, go up and up arrow, and let's copy this 3 more times, change them. Go down, it will be down arrow. Go left, it will be left arrow, and go right, it will be right arrow. Okay, now we must call the move function inside the game loop, and we can run the game. And as you see, but it moves too fast, so we must kind of delay the time after each movement. So we will add a delay parameter. 0.1 will be enough, so we will delay after each movement. And let's try it again. As you see, it's moving freely around the screen without problem. So first part is done. Now we must be able to add the food for the snake. So for the food, we will be using a turtle object again, and this food object must not move, so we'll set the speed to 0. The shape will be a circle. The food's color will be red, I guess, and it's looking like an apple, so it must look like an apple, so it's gonna be circle and the red color, and we will move it to some coordinate for the beginning. And we must do a pen up, of course, not to leave the trace. So now we must write the collisions for the when snake eats the food. So if player's distance with the food is less than 20, so the collision is happening, we are getting new two random coordinates, x and y coordinates, and we are moving the food to that coordinates. And then we must create a tail for the snake. So we set the tail speed to 0. It's again a basic turtle object, and the color is green. So we must store these tails in an array, and we will create a tails array to hold the snake's tail, and we'll call it segments. It's the food segments. When snake eats a food, it must get longer, snake must get longer, so we'll add the tail into the segments array. And now we must be able to move this segments, this tails, with snake itself. So for each of the index, we will go through each index, and we will change their coordinates according to the previous index. We get the index of the previous one, x coordinate of the previous tail, and we set the coordinates of this tail to this previous one. So, and if the segments array's length is bigger than 0, so if there is an element inside this segments, we get the player's coordinates, and we move it according to the player's coordinates. And the first one, the first element in the array must move according to player, and the others after that will move accordingly to the first segment. So as you see, it's working normally, it's working as intended, but we must have some collision with the tail and the head. So when a snake's body collides with the tail for each segment, if distance between the segment and the player, the snake's head, is less than 20, it means that they are colliding. We must end the game, so let's create a reset game function. We will create a reset game function here, and we'll sleep for 1 second, and we'll move the player into the center, and we will change the player's direction to stop, and we will move if player has any segments, we will move them out of the screen. Then we're gonna clear the segments array to remove the tails of the snake. So now we will just call the reset game and set the delay into the original state 0.1. We must move the move function into the top, and there you go, it's working normally, it's working just fine. And now we must write what should happen if a player goes out of the screen. So in order to do that, we must create a border collision, and if snake collides with the borders or goes off the screen, what should we do? We're gonna write border collisions. So but instead of ending the game, we will make the snake to come from the opposite side. If it goes from the left, it will come from the right. If it goes from the top, it will come from the bottom, and vice versa. All we need to do is just replacing the x and y coordinates with the opposite ones when the collision happens, and it will fix the problem. And as you see, it's working okay. If you wanna improve this game, you can add obstacles, you can add scoreboard, and you can add a menu, a kind of menu to it, and make it more fun. And I really hope that you liked the video. Thank you for watching.